Hi folks, I'm Mark Henry.
And I'm Lizzie Henry, and we're from Cooking with Boy Cuisine. Thank you today for joining us for Adventure Theater Streamathon.
Remember to donate, text ADVENTURE to 56651. Today we're going to be doing a small demo for you, and on the menu is chicken meatballs in a tomato sauce over spaghetti.
So to start off, we're going to be starting with our sauce.
To begin, go with the sauce. Lizzie, you got it.
Okay, so we're going to do roughly 1 tablespoon. I guess it's free-handed, but try to stay in that area. So
let me see what you have. You
good.
want to come on over and take a look at it?
That's good.
Yeah, we can give it a little more. Why don't we turn on the stove, please?
Okay. Ooh, that was nice. Okay, there we go.
All right, so while our oil is heating, what we're going to be adding to our dish is going to be some...
Rosemary.
Yes.
Garlic.
Yes.
And basil.
Right.
Yay!
Once we get that going, we're going to give some color, let the basil cook until it's aromatic, along with the rosemary, and the garlic starts getting some color.
Okay.
All right, so our oil is just about there. You want a little bit just to coat the bottom. A good way to get your sauce going great, nice and easy, is to make sure that you have a solid non-stick pot.
Okay.
All right, so let's take a look and see where we're at. All right, it's going to take a little while. The oil is not quite heated yet.
That's okay.
But we can hear it coming. Yeah,
it's
coming. So we...
I want to zoom on in and how it's caramelizing it.
Right. So you hear it starts to sizzle a little bit. Let's start stirring it.
A little bit.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Yeah. So you let that cook. You want to cook it on a low to medium heat flame, so that way your garlic don't burn quickly. And yeah, you give it a little bit of time. Once the color starts coming together, the roux is going to be real aromatic. We're going to be adding some white wine. You do not have to add white wine because you can add other things. You're going to add your tomato product to it, which is spicy or tangy and acidic.
So you want it to balance out?
Yep. You're looking at balancing the flavor. As you can see, the garlic is starting to get some color. Once you get this going, the dish is going to cook for a while. It's going to simmer, reduce down. Most of your liquid is going to reduce, and you're going to have a pulpy sauce.
Okay. So, you ready to add the red sauce?
No, we're going to add the white wine first. We cook it a little bit more.
Okay. So, about how much wine are we using?
We're using about 2 ounces of white wine. You can just go with your eye. You know, let that sizzle a little bit. And then we're going to add our tomato product.
This will cool it down a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So you smell that flavor that's coming through. I'm using San Marzano tomatoes.
So these are the really chunky ones, right?
Yes. San Marzano refers to the style of tomato, the type of tomato that grows in Pompeii, Italy.
They kind of look like giant grapes.
They do. You know, and we use these because the skin is not as thick as your regular plum tomato. It's similar to a tomato brie.
Okay.
And what we want to do is, it also has, it's less acidic, and they attribute that to the soil, the terroir around the region, because tomatoes are very acidic in nature. What normally happens?
Bubbles and everything.
Yeah, what normally happens is that you get a very tangy, bitter sauce. So to compensate for that, a lot of times people will add some, like a little bit of sugar to cut that acid. Me personally, I like that acidic taste to my fresh tomato sauce.
Okay, that looks good.
Cool. So we're going to let that go for a while, and then we're going to move on to making our chicken meatballs. You are not limited to using a San Marzano tomato. You can use regular diced tomato. Any tomato from the store will be good for you to use. And when you're using them, you know, some people will char their tomato, which gives it that rusty burnt flavor to it, tinge of burnt flavor. It adds character to your finished product. This is going to take about an hour to reduce and all. But through the magic of TV, we're going to show you what we've done some earlier ahead of time.
Yeah.
Okay? So, just let this go for a while, and then if you can, please, can you get rid of these for me? Okay. Yeah. So now we're going to be working on our chicken meatball. What I have here is approximately 2 pounds of ground chicken thigh meat. And the reason why I use thigh meat is because I get a good marbling of fat and lean meat. So you have a lot of
flavor.
It has a lot of flavor, and you get that moisture in it. You know what? Let's get this out of the way. If you don't mind, can you just put it on the back there for me? So, meatball. Now, here in America, most of us are used to having that Italian flavor profile, but you're not limited to that. There are many other types of meatballs that are out there that you can use. Okay? So for ingredients, we're going to be using a tablespoon of parsley, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of sage, pepper flakes, and onion powder, about a teaspoon each of basil and oregano, and a teaspoon and a half of salt.
Okay.
All right?
That's a lot of seasoning.
It is a lot of seasoning, but if you take a whiff of this, you smell it, it's like pizza calling, you know, it's very aromatic. To that, we're going to add a combination of pecorino romano and Parmesan cheese that has been grated. And then we're going to be using a half cup of panko breadcrumbs.
Okay, so why are we using panko?
Because panko is crustier, lighter, it's thicker.
So it
and
gives
it
it
gets
more crunchy?
It adds to it, but it also absorbs the moisture, excess moisture in there.
So it's not too wet.
It's not as dense. Okay.
That's good for your meatballs, by the way, because if they're too dense, they'll collapse.
Well, not really, they won't collapse. They'll be kind of heavy. If you have the regular breadcrumbs, you can go ahead and use it, but you want to use less than a half cup. And rather than pouring it in like I'm going to do here, so we're adding our cheese, and now we're going to add all of our spices. So,
it's like a fun slide.
Right. We are not adding eggs to our mixture because we have enough moisture in there, or we have enough, the breadcrumbs is enough to bind it. In using the panko breadcrumbs, we don't need to, worry about the binding part of it, because they're bigger, they tend to absorb or bring things together. Okay? So what we'll do is just go ahead and mix it up. And if you're using chicken breasts, you might need to add some liquid to your mixture, so that way you can get the product to not only bind but add moisture to it, because the chicken breast has less moisture content to it. The chicken I got from my local butcher at the supermarket. I had just asked them to grind it up for me. You want to get in here and mix this stuff?
Yes,
yeah.
Please. So we're folding, right?
Yeah, you want to get down in there. Don't push because you're compressing it. You want to mix it in. Get in there. All right?
Wee.
You get the spices up from the side. So, as I was saying, you get your fresh thick chicken thigh meat from your butcher. You know, I asked my guy to grind it, and he had the fine die on. So I told him just grind it once.
So we don't have to grind it anymore, right?
Right. If it's if you do a thicker grind, then you want to go like one or twice, because then you won't have all the chunks. You won't have too much chunks in there. Okay. I personally like nice big chunks of meat in there. I like to see what I'm eating. Okay. All right. Let me get in here and see how we're doing. Okay. Now we get in there. There is such a thing as over mixing.
But what about under?
You can undermix by not mixing it at all, being afraid of it. You got to get in there and kind of... Yeah, pick up the stuff. I'll get there. Yeah. So, incidentally, viewers, meatballs and spaghetti is one of Liz's favorite dish.
Yes.
You know, why is that?
I don't know, to be honest. I really like eating spaghetti.
Yeah?
It's like a funny meal.
Oh, yeah. Now, you're not limited, as I was saying earlier, you're not limited just to chicken or to Italian flavor profile meatball. Meatball, you actually can track its history throughout the world. There are a lot of cultures, you know, in North Africa, they have different type of meatballs that they make with different meats. You can use chicken, you can use
beef,
venison, deer, meat, pork, my personal favorite, and you can combine the meats as well. You even have duck meatballs. In the Philippines, they like to do, a friend of mine, from the Philippines, he likes to make duck meatballs. So to make our meatball, we just want to reach in and grab like a handful. Okay, add a little bit more, yeah. You don't want to squeeze it. You want to handle it, but you don't want to squeeze it or press it through your hands. So you get like a cup, a small amount here. This is about 1.5 ounces, and we're going to form them into balls.
So how much with this mixture can we make?
This, we should be able to get about 17 meatballs easily out of it.
Okay. So
all right. That's a little bit big, but well, yeah, we can go with that.
You told me to add.
Yeah. All right, so we can work with it. All right, so we go there, just cup it and roll them.
I'm trying to get this piece. Okay,
that's right. And you can serve it. You're not only limited to spaghetti. You can use orchetti, which is an ear-like pasta, or it looks like the Pope's cap to me. You can use fusilli, well, a little less, yeah, a little less than that, yeah. Right, and that needs to roll a little bit tighter.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
we have a competition. Who does it better?
Yeah. Nice. Go ahead, grab your stuff. Now, when you go to the restaurant and have them, sometimes you'll see they make the meatballs. You can either cook them in the sauce that you're making with, but more often than that, the sauce is being used for multiple things. So you won't necessarily
combine food.
Yeah. They'll make the sauce and keep it separately, and then when the order comes in, they kind of mix them together.
Okay.
But when you're doing it at home, to save on space and time, you want to make your meatballs. It's best to let them sit for a little bit. You can leave them in the fridge and leave them uncovered so they kind of get the moisture from around it. The moisture, it dries out the surface a little bit and forms like a pellicle, so it will hold its shape. And then while your sauce is cooking, after a couple hours of it being on the stove, you just drop them in and let them simmer in the sauce.
So we have 11, 12, 13, probably 14.
Yeah, we
this
could
even make 15.
Yeah, we can get. You can make them as big as you want or as small as you want.
Oops, I dropped a little piece.
All right, don't worry about it. All right, so
yeah,
do me a favor. Let's just put these in the fridge and get ready to show you folks what we did, our sauce, how it came out. All right.
1, 2,
and.
Okay, I got this right.
All right. So, thank you, my dear. For the big roundup, what we're going to do is, can you bring the pasta over here? Yeah. All right. So, if you can come a little bit closer, we show our guests. This is what it looks like being cooked in the sauce.
So
and
about how long did we cook this for?
This was cooked for about, initially when I made it, it took about 2.5 hours before I added my meatballs and let them cooked in there.
Okay.
It only took about 20 minutes for it to cook.
Okay, so.
Right.
That's pretty good.
So what we're going to do is we're going to serve up a bowl of the pasta. All right.
Do this.
And our pasta here. What I did was I cooked it earlier and put a little bit of olive oil on there for us to make sure we. Yeah. All right.
Da-da-dum.
And
now it's time for the meatballs.
Right. So we have, earlier I was talking about meatballs in the oven versus in the stove. If you can tell just by looking on this, the meatballs, So now we're gonna add our meatballs to our plate. So we're gonna try and make it kind of sexy here. All right. And crowning achievement.
Okay, let's do this.
All right. And
Sauce.
yeah, we're gonna add our sauce over it. You notice how my sauce has reduced some, very thick and rich.
Okay.
All right. And then we're gonna add a little garnish here and a little
Garnish there.
and you know what we needed? We should have gotten some cheese, right? But we can add that as we go along.
Meatballs anyway. So
There is.
yeah.
All right. So, all right. Let's have a go at them and see what they taste like.
Oh,
Just take a
that was more.
yeah. Go ahead and try that. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
You look like you're in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Let me try. All righty, folks. So that's it for today. Want to thank you very much for joining us. Had a wonderful time. Please remember, text adventure to 56651.
Make sure you donate.
All righty. It's for a worthy cause. Take care. We'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye.
Bye.